Welcome everybody to the way too early second series on this channel, the Pokemon Fire Red Randomizer Nuzlocke. I'm sticking with the Randomizer Nuzlocke because I just kind of felt like doing that, and the last one obviously didn't last very long because we died within 3 episodes. The third episode was relatively long because I wanted to go through Sprout Tower, and then I figured, well, let's go do an optional trainer. And well, if you haven't seen that episode yet, I would recommend you go check it out. It's a bad time for me, which usually means a good time for you guys. So today we're going to start in the Kanto region, just because Garchomp doesn't exist here. That's the main reason I went with a Generation 3 game. And I've done the Hoenn game so many damn times. I figured, let's actually go with Fire Red, because I don't think I've ever done Fire Red other than in a racing format. Oh my, no, I've got the analog stick mapped to, oh no, that's bad. I've got the analog stick mapped to this emulator, rather than the D-pad, which I prefer for a grid-based game. It's been a while, since I have used this emulator, probably last time I recorded something on it, to be honest. So I'm not going to go into the options now and change it, but next episode I'll probably be using a D-pad again, which should also make less noise for you guys. We have to name our rival right away. We called our rival Milk last time, and the really good thing about having to restart a new Nuzlocke is that we can now actually start with a naming theme, and I have not thought of a naming theme yet, which is not good for me. I'm gonna go with our rival being called... I want to do something referential to Milk, because we never actually got to talk to Milk after we gave him his name. So I'm just going to do Cheese, because Milk has been waiting for us for like years on end, and he turned into Cheese. I don't know what the logic behind this is. It's not even the same damn guy, so his name is Cheese. I mean, it's an old joke, right? Naming your rival something like Shitface or Douchebag or whatever, and having his granddad call him Shitface or Douchebag. But it's just having it even worse. Just, oh yeah, his name is Cheese, which is just a generic word. I know, it just makes me laugh even more. I wanted to withdraw a potion, which is in here, which I didn't know for the longest time that was a thing. Also, let me go into options anyway for 1 quick second, because, yeah, VSync issues. It's not really, there's still some artifacting. You're gonna have to deal with that. I don't think when we get to the outside world it's gonna be too big of an issue. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's really a big deal anymore here. It's mostly on the inside of buildings with the black borders where it's going to be an issue. I don't think I can really do much about that, so you're just gonna have to kind of deal with a little bit of artifacting every now and then, here and there. It's not that big a deal. So, as I said before, Generation 4, Diamond and Pearl, especially Diamond, was my first, not my first Pokemon game. It's probably one of my favorite games. Especially Platinum, that's what I wanted to say. Generation 3 was my first generation. I started with Emerald, and then I think I got Diamond, and then I went back to Fire Red possibly, and then I got Crystal, which I didn't own. I kind of like half stole it from, I think, my brother? I don't know. Which at some point I returned it, I didn't have Crystal anymore, and then I got Gold at some point, and then I got Yellow, and then I got Crystal again, and then Generation 5 was released, and by that time, I don't know. Did I get Black or White? Doesn't really matter. I'm not here to talk about the entirety of my Pokemon collection and what order I got what game. I just started with Generation 3, and Fire Red was one of the earliest games in there. 3 starters. Since we died so early on, even with having the Aggron in the last series, I'm going to stick with the most powerful. If I get a Mewtwo in here, it's gonna be Mewtwo. Loudred, which, fun fact, used to be my channel mascot. Like, literally probably over 6 years ago by now. Machoke. I did, by the way, patch it this time so that... Oh, no, I don't want to choose yes. I did, by the way, patch it so that my trade evolutions will naturally evolve through level up. I don't know what level they'll evolve at, but they'll be able to evolve. So we will be able to get a Machamp if we choose Machoke. We're definitely not going to go with Masquerain, because that's definitely the worst one out of the bunch. I think Exploud is a more... Oh, wait a second. The physical special split hasn't happened yet. So that means Exploud is actually probably not going to be very good, because I think Exploud is usually mostly a special attacker, and all of its stat moves are going to be physical. So I'm going to go with Machoke as my starting Pokemon. And I have been thinking throughout the last 5 minutes while I was talking, and I think I've got a nickname theme. I'm going to name everything in this series after fictional characters. Which is a very broad theme, but at least it narrows it in a little bit. So if I get a Pokemon, I'm just going to name it after something that it reminds me of within fiction. So as an example, Machoke here is going to evolve into Machamp and have 4 arms. And as such, I'm going to call it Tien, because of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and technically Dragon Ball Super, because that one episode with Tien suddenly has the 4-arm technique thing again. So Machoke is going to be Tien, and if it doesn't evolve, I guess it's the Super Incarnation, Dragon Ball Super Incarnation of Tien, because he doesn't ever use that again, even though it seems like a really useful technique. Anyway, our first rival battle here should be going down fairly easily. The Nuzlocke, of course, has not officially started yet. It only starts when we get Pokeballs, which will be when we get back to Pallet Town and deliver the parcel. And this has a crime. This is going to be easy. For Pete's sake, indeed. Just let me skip tutorials. I complained about this in the first episode of the last series, and that wasn't too long ago, so you guys probably remember fairly vividly. I don't like so many tutorials, and this game does a real bad job at it, because... And that's one thing I don't like with Game Freak. I got a text message. Game Freak doing remakes, you can really tell that throughout the years, and it might not be Game Freak's fault, really. Oh, that's not very effective. That's not good. This is gonna take a while. I don't know if Grimer has anything that can damage me, but I only have a low kick, which is not going to be very effective. Anyway, the way the game design works in this game compared to the original one, this one is a way more handholdy, and it's not even that bad in Fire Red and Leaf Green compared to Red and Blue, where you can really start to feel that. And I would actually say that Heart Gold and Soul Silver do a pretty decent job compared to Gold and Silver themselves. The really bad comparison comes in when you compare Ruby and Sapphire to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because those games don't let you explore for yourself whatsoever. They're way too damn afraid of you losing track of what you're doing, even though the map design, the region, everything is designed in such a way that you'll eventually naturally progress with the story and find out where you have to go. Other than that one thing in Slateport City where Team Aqua or Magma, depending on what game you have, is blocking the museum, and I never know what to do, and I just always accidentally stumble in the right thing to do, and to this day I still can't for the life of me tell you exactly what to do in that part. So I am a walking walkthrough for the entirety of Generation 3 and Generation 4 and most of Generation 5. And I lost the first battle. Again, we don't have Pokeballs yet, doesn't count. And Generation 2 as well, Generation 1 as well, Generation 1 through 5. The only thing I can't tell you off the top of my head, usually, is the Silph Scope building in Generation 1 and what in the world you're supposed to do when Team Aqua or Team Magma is blocking the Slateport Museum. Those are the only two things where I consistently don't know what to do. Oh, and that one puzzle in the Aqua hideout where you... Or Magma hideout at... what's the place? The place in Hoenn where you leave land behind forever and have to start surfing an awful lot. That place, yeah. Wait, what? Okay, so maybe there's a lot more tutorials in this game than in the original anyway. It's really bugging me now. It's not Slateport, right? Because Slateport is... Yeah, Slateport is the one with the museum. Okay, you guys know which town I mean, right? It's the one where they also have a contest hall, no gym, the really big Pokemon Mart center thing. That place. There's a puzzle that leads you to the Master Ball, and I never first try know what to do there. It's just walking in random directions until you win, pretty much. It's not that big a deal. But those are the only two things I can really not tell you where to go at any given time in the first 5 generations of Pokemon. Maybe Generation 5 is a little bit more hazy, and Black and White 2 I never actually completed. The farthest I got into completing Black and White 2 was actually during my Pokemon Black to Randomizer Nuzlocke. And I died to, I believe, Colraz with an Arceus? I know it's... Okay, there's a couple of Pokemon names that are somewhat controversial. Arceus and Rayquaza are probably the two most controversial. I say Rayquaza. Usually. I will sometimes say Rayquaza. I don't know why. And I have gotten so used to saying Arceus that I just say Arceus. Even though, if you asked me, how do you think it's pronounced? I would say Arceus. Because the Aeus part is supposed to be from Deus. So it would be Arceus, but that sounds weird, so I would say Arceus. Which also kind of coincides with the word arcane. I would say that that is the right pronunciation. Yet I don't use it for myself. I don't know how that works, but it's just kind of something that I do. And I'm same with Pokemon itself. It's Pokemon, but when I'm just talking, I tend to say Pokemon with E rather than A sound. I know how to pronounce it, and I have reasoning. I have rational reasoning for why a certain thing should be pronounced a certain way, and yet when I'm just talking casually, I know I'm doing it wrong, and it bothers me. And every time I say Arceus, something in my mind goes, no, it's Arceus. But I'm like, just keep talking, just ignore that, just keep talking. We're not gonna stick with like a 5-minute conversation about how to pronounce Arceus or Arceus, which is exactly what I'm doing now. I get the irony there. I'm just trying to fill time until we can catch probably a Seedot, because I've only run into Seedot on that route yet, and Seedot might actually be a somewhat decent Pokemon to get. I don't know where we get a Leaf Stone to evolve Nuzleaf into Shiftry. But at least if we make it to like the 5th gym, we can buy one, I think. Maybe we'll be able to get one sooner. I could look up where to get a Leaf Stone and what would be the optimal level to evolve a Nuzleaf. Also, now that we're starting a new game, I have to go back into the options menu, choose a hideous text frame again, because that's kind of just what I do, and set the text speed to fast, because this is taking forever. I mean, it's way quicker. It's way quicker than the last game, because last game we took an entire episode to go back and forth to the professor to do the whole act thing, and then we had another tutorial at the beginning of the 2nd episode. We're going to get all tutorials done within the 1st episode here, and we'll be on our way. We'll have caught our first Pokemon and maybe, probably even our 2nd Pokemon, to be honest, because we can catch 2 Pokemon before getting the tutorial, which is just insane. Right, we already have Pokeballs, 5 of them, yeah. Options, text speed, fast, battle scene on, battle shifts, sound. We can go stereo. Let's go stereo because we're about high production value here. Frame, bottom mode, help, frame. Let's see, what is an ugly frame? Can we get to one with the Pokeballs, which was very ugly in the last... We only have 10 of them? In which case, this is definitely pretty ugly. So is this one. This one is more distractingly ugly, so we're gonna go with type 8. Oh yeah, no, that's hideous. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, so first encounter on Route 1 will be our encounter here. Also, one thing I need to remember. When I get back to Palantown, if I get back to Palantown, we're not on the route below here yet. So we can probably fish for something in here. And usually, if we have an old rod or something, we'd only get a Magikarp. But obviously, that's not the case because we're randomized. Am I going to get through this entire route? No. Okay, so we're probably going to be able to catch a Seedot because there's nothing else on this route apparently than Seedots, just a lot of them. I don't know if you're going to be... Oh, you only have Horn, don't you? You're not going to have any use for moves. I'm going to have to switch train you while I don't have any proper moves on Tien anyway. You have Bide. That could be both dangerous for me now and dangerous for me later, because that requires you getting hit. I really want you to get a better move. That being said, having both a Seedot and a Machoke for the first gym is not gonna matter because it's gonna be randomized. I'm stupid. I was happy for a split second. I was just thinking, I'm gonna have 2 Pokemon that are super effective against the first gym, and then I realized he's probably going to have like a Moltres and a Rayquaza or something. He can't have Arceus. Seedot. Seedot reminds me a lot of... Does Shiftry remind me of anyone? Maybe this nickname thing wasn't as well thought out as I thought it was. Because a lot of Pokemon are like... Well, a lot of Pokemon... Seedot might be just a bad example. A lot of Pokemon would actually remind me of something that they could name it after. Seedot is just... It's literally a nut. And I don't know... I mean, does a Goomba count? I'm gonna say Goombas count, but Goombas... A chestnut. This is obviously not a chestnut. And Nuzleaf, Shiftry. I'm gonna think about Shiftry because Seedot again, literally a nut. It's not gonna be very creative to think of a name for that. Shiftry, however, is like a tree ninja kind of thing, and I haven't watched Naruto. So I can't name it any name from Naruto because I don't know any name from Naruto. I expect a main character from Naruto is called Naruto, but I'm not even sure about that. So I'm going to call it Joey. Because I'm thinking... I was talking about Dragon Ball before and now about Naruto, and the next thing which happens in my mind when I talk about anime is Yu-Gi-Oh! I was thinking, what is the least useful character ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because you're a nut. Let's be honest. When you get into a Shiftry, you're gonna be... Actually, it's fitting, because Joey in the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is absolutely useless, but actually ends up being a pretty capable member of the team and a pretty capable duelist. So yeah, I think naming him Joey, maybe we should have named him Wheeler because Joey is a very... Yeah, maybe that would have been a bad idea because Joey is a very generic name. Also, everything that is related to anime, I'm going to use the English names. It's not going to be just anime names because I don't watch a lot of anime. It's just 2 anime names back to back. That being said, if I do anything from Dragon Ball Super, it's probably going to be the Japanese names because I have not watched that in English yet. And a couple of things that I did watch in English from the Tournament of Power and the Goku Black arc from Dragon Ball Super, didn't leave me very happy with the way they translated some names. Let's just say that, because I probably should bring some... No, I don't have to bring Antidote, because there's not going to be Bug-type and Poison-type Pokemon in the Viridian Forest. Things like Zamasu just dropping the U and Chopo dropping half his name with just being Top. That's a stupid name. Also, do I not have the running shoe? Do you not get the running shoes in this game? You get the running shoes after beating Brock. Okay, so we get yet another encounter here, and that is going to be a Gloom. Well, that's interesting. We already have a Grass type, but this is going to be a Grass Poison type, unless I get a Sunstone, but I don't think I can easily get a Sunstone until the post-game. So we're going to have a Grass Poison type. I think Gloom itself is already... Oh no. A Poison type. And then we're going to have a Grass and Dark type. So we're going to have a real Grass issue with our team if this keeps going. Oh, and Poison Powder. I just said we don't need an antidote, and then we immediately will need an antidote. We do have a potion, if need be. We do have a potion which we should use. Because Tien is going to be very important. And also, I need Tien to evolve, because if Tien doesn't evolve, his name is going to make no sense, and I'm just going to be very sad. And also, I don't really think Joey can do anything on his own without being switch trained. So if Tien dies, the run ends. It's just that easy. Sweet Sando doesn't matter that much, but in theory it could be nice. Just to get wild Pokemon. Then again, walking around in the grass for a little bit, really not that difficult, so doesn't matter that much at the end of the day, but it's just a nice quality of life thing to have, right? We got Gloom, and I'm thinking about a character which is always lazy or asleep because it's Gloom is drooling, you know? And the first thing that I think of course, is Snorlax. Which is not... Is it a character? Is it not a character? It's difficult to say. I'm gonna call him... Her. Sorry, it's a her. Oh, am I going to have to... I'm not gonna pay attention to genders. For the names. That's only gonna make things way worse. No, I'm not gonna do that. That's stupid. You know what? It might not make a lot of sense, but I'm gonna go with Iroh from Avatar of the Last Airbender. Not because Iroh is lazy, not because Iroh is useless, but because he likes to take it easy, slow and relax, just drink tea. And I imagine Gloom is a very big fan of drinking tea. I don't know, it just popped into my mind. Iroh, it works. Or as M. Night Shyamalan, don't let Pokemon die. In this generation they still die outside of battle from poison. I'm just gonna... Just to be sure, man. I don't want anybody to die. Or as M. Night Shyamalan would like to say, Iro. Because we need things to sound foreign. Even though we have original source material which has sound evidence of how everything is pronounced, like Aang. Because we need to sound British, because that makes things sound so much more intelligent. I know that my accent sounds somewhat British and that it's a little bit hypocritical maybe to say that people try to sound British because it sounds more intelligent, which it really doesn't. I don't know, it just... Can I skip? I cannot skip the tutorial, of course I can't. Okay, this is very easy. At this point you have had plenty of opportunity to capture Pokemon. If this guy detects you have caught a Pokemon, he should not give you the tutorial. It should just give you an options box, but barring that, assuming that Game Freak for some reason really doesn't want to give you too many option boxes, it can detect. Do you have more than one Pokemon in your party? If yes, don't give you this tutorial. It's not that difficult. This one more than anything annoys me, because it's way later into the game than something like Hard Gold and Soul Silver give it to you. And from here on out, I'm actually happy, because the thing he just gave me is literally a tutorial box, which I'm going to ignore. But from here on out, we don't have any more tutorials, and we do have Route 2, where we can capture yet another Pokemon for our team, which is going to be great. I have not yet defeated any Pokemon yet, I don't think, so I'm still level 5. That's a Donphan. That's actually the first interesting Pokemon we find. That almost died to a low kick. First time low kick was actually normally effective, I think, in this entire episode, which is a little bit sad. Well, no, it was normally effective against the Seedot too, it just took it a lot better. Okay, Donphan is going to be a little bit of an issue, but once we've gotten Donphan, I'm gonna start thinking about a name. I've already come up with a very uncreative name for Donphan, so I'm going to continue thinking for a better name. Because I don't want to call it Dumbo, is the thing. I really don't want to call it Dumbo because it's an elephant. Well, actually, no. Well, I was gonna say we can call it after the mammoth from Ice Age, but it's kind of the same, but it's not a woolly mammoth because it's an elephant, and there's literally woolly mammoth Pokemon, and there's a chance that I could get a Piloswine or a Swinub. So I haven't came up with a better name yet, so I'm going to call it Dumbo. Please don't kill me. Where's the U? Again, the alphabetical layout here really messes with me. Is the live action Dumbo a thing yet? Or is that later in the year? I think that's later in the year. We've already gotten Aladdin and now the Lion King. I think Dumbo is the next and last one this year, right? That's the only one that I have high hopes for. I still haven't seen the Lion King. This episode is being recorded on the day that the first episode of Hard Gold is going up. Still haven't seen the Lion King, and as I think I mentioned before, maybe I was in one of the lost versions of episode 2. I really don't have high hopes for it. I really think it's going to suck pretty bad. I literally cannot see a way that movie is going to be any good compared to the original. It's literally no way with like the hyperrealism and stuff. But I'm going to leave it here for today. It's a little bit of a shorter episode to start off the series, but I want to go into Viridian Forest next episode and just go through that and have plenty of time to deal with that, and maybe we'll be able to take on the first gym in the next episode, although I doubt it because I'm going to fight literally everything I see to grind up everybody to a level where I'm comfortable taking on the first gym. Because it's scary, man. It's going to be scary. I don't want to lose within 3 episodes again. But until the next time, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you've enjoyed this video. And unlike in Pokemon Hard Gold, I'm actually going to have a end screen after this, where you can like hit the subscribe button and there'll be 2 video thumbnails. Probably like the playlist for this series and then something YouTube thinks you should watch and that kind of good stuff. So until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.